Congratulations to the groom. The mother of the bride was Great Lay, so hopefully that's genetic. That's crazy. Posted by user ThrowraTastelessHost, titled, I, 29 female, made my stepfather, 50 male, an outsider at my wedding that he paid for. I need to make it up to him, but I don't know how. I ruined the memory of the best day of my life because I was too blind to see that what I was doing was hurting one of the most important people in my life. I got married 2 months ago to the love of my life, and he finally opened my eyes to what I did. He showed me the perspective that I didn't understand. When I was 5, my father just disappeared without a trace. He and my mum were already separated by that point, but he was still living with us. 3 years later, my mum started dating Rob. He was quite a bit younger than she was. I believe that she was 34 and he was 26. Today, he is very wealthy. He wasn't when he met my mum, and he treats my mother like a queen. Whenever she's around him, she looks like the happiest person in the world. My younger sister looks a lot like me and mum, but her personality is for sure a reflection of her dad. Always telling jokes and being just a nice person all around, while me and my mum are more serious and cold. As I got older, Rob became more present in my life. He got married to my mum, and she got pregnant. But it was still pretty weird seeing him as a father figure, mostly because people would assume that he was my brother all the time. When I was in high school, I was dating this boy, and he broke up with me at my friend's house. My mum was on a night shift, and I had to ask Rob to pick me up. When he did, he comforted me, took me to get ice cream, and when we got home, he told me something like this, without knowing what happened. Whoever made you sad doesn't understand that you were the best girl in the world, and it's their loss. Don't beat yourself up because other people are too stupid to see it. I just said to him that I wish you were my dad. He smiled and said that he wished that too, and he could be if I wanted. We left it at that. I never called him dad, but from that point forward, I saw him as a father, and I think he knows it. I finally reconnected to my biological father about a year ago. It happened because I got engaged. When I came to my mum's house one day, he was there and I couldn't even recognize him. He was way thinner than he was when I was a kid. He struggled for years with depression and substance abuse. My mum and Rob actually helped him to get clean, and they even paid for his stay at a great rehabilitation center. They decided it together that it was time for me to finally meet him again. Rob and my mother paid for everything at my wedding, and everything was amazing. The church was beautiful, my husband looked amazing. The one mistake I made? I chose my biological father over Rob. I chose the man that did abandon me for over 20 years over the one that took me in as his own and gave me everything he could when he didn't have to. I chose the man that broke my mother's heart over the one that saved her. I don't know why I did what I did. Looking back on it, I feel so effing stupid. My dad didn't deserve to walk me down the aisle. My dad didn't deserve to be in all the pictures with my mum and my husband's parents. It should have been Rob. I don't know. I think I was compensating for the time that I lost with my dad. Everything was still so fresh with him. I was helping him out. He talked to me every day. I felt like he deserved to be back in my life. When we decided who were giving speeches, we had to cut some because it was just too many, and me and my husband didn't really like the idea of hearing speeches for an hour and a half, so we decided for 5 people each. When I gave the list to my husband, he even asked, "No Rob?" And I said, "Yeah, my mum's already doing one." The others I chose were 2 of my bridesmaids, my mum, and my sister, she really pushed for it, and again, my dad. My husband said that I should reconsider. He even thought of giving up one of his to put Rob in. I said that it was fine. He didn't need to do that. My whole thinking was when doing this was that Rob has my sister. He will have his moment. This was the only chance that my dad had. But I went too far. I completely cut him out of the party, basically. If you look at the photos, it doesn't even look like he went. My mom looks like she's faking a smile in half of the pictures. I don't have a single picture with him. He only appears in group pictures, and some with my husband. I only realized all of this when I texted Rob 2 days ago, asking him about a gift I'm giving my husband for his birthday. He answered, and then asked about my car that is with a mechanic friend of his. He answered. Then I asked him something about my insurance, and he did not answer. A little over an hour later, my mum called me. She just said, "Do you have no shame? Do you not understand what you did?" I just listened and she told me not to talk to Rob for now. I was just so effing confused. I got home and told my husband, and he just said that he knows what she is referring to, but he will talk to her first. Later, he showed me the wedding photos. He went step by step on everything I've listed here. He talked calmly and broke it down for me. By the end, I was crying so much that I had a headache. What an inconsiderate idiot that I am. He told me that he and my mum didn't tell me anything before the party because Rob asked me not to. He understood that it was important for my father to be a big part of this day, and when they protested, he said that they should not make me worry about these small things. I don't know what changed from before the party to now. My mom only tells me that he needs a bit of time and that he'll talk to me soon. My husband keeps telling me that I made a mistake, but Rob will be understanding and will forgive me, and I know that he will. He 100% has already forgiven me. He probably felt something when I was texting him that day that broke him down. I don't know what I said to trigger him at that moment, but also it doesn't really matter. I did the real damage at the party, probably since he appeared to be fine with everything else before it. It was not fine by any means. I have to make it up to him. I don't know how to do it, but I just do. I guess I'm just writing this because I'm a little lost. I'm too ashamed to talk about it with anyone else that I know, apart from my mum and husband. She doesn't tell me anything, and my husband keeps insisting that everything will be fine, and for me to not worry too much about it. And he's probably right, but I feel like me not worrying about this is just being inconsiderate to Rob again. I have to worry. I just don't know what to do. I'm now at work, and the only thing I can think of about is this. Nothing else matters to me right now. If someone has any kind of idea how I can make it up to him, I would greatly appreciate it. Edit, literally 40 minutes after I uploaded this, my mom texted me saying that Rob wants to speak to me tonight. Ooh, spooky. What does Rob want? He's gonna come kill you, OP. You've desecrated him. In the comments, Revolutionary Hat 8988 says, "I want to hug Rob. We all need a Rob in our lives." For sure. I know that her thoughts right now are probably looking at him like a saint due to her gigantic F-up, but if he's even half of what she described, damn, that's a good dude. I wish I had a Rob growing up. Me too. My nephew has a Rob in his life, and I'd be so disgusted if he acted like this. I don't think that I'd be able to see him for a long while. I have a Rob, except my bio dad never got better, and he was so terrible that none of us would have anything to do with him, and I have nothing for him but rage. I cannot effing fathom treating my Rob anything like that. Disgusting. My Rob wasn't wealthy and he had problems too, but he loved us all more than anything and anyone. I'm not doing the work for OP. They don't deserve our help. Rob is their dad, but for whatever narcissistic reason, they see fit to barely even apologize. Grow up. Old Welcome 7940 says, "Good news. I bet Rob forgives you. Bad news, he doesn't see you as his daughter anymore, and he probably never will. What you did can't be changed. You can't make up for it. You took the man who gave you more than any other man ever, and took him for granted. You will never be able to undo it, fix it, or make up for it. Even worse, even after all of that, he hoped that you would realize your mistake and he would feel like he raised you well enough to figure it out and try to fix it. He now also feels like you don't see him as a dad, but also that is 100% his own fault for failing you as your dad. I suggest you just pray someday he sees your kids as grandkids and is the amazing grandpa that he can be for them. But other than that, go see a therapist and figure out what is wrong with you. Because this isn't a singular mistake inside of a small moment. This was a series of repeated decisions, and honestly shows that you have a lot to work on. I just can't get over the fact that OP's husband tried to point it out to her before it ever happened. Was she truly that oblivious? Well, my guess is upper class, or at least upper middle class. Higher up on the look scale, never had to struggle for much, and so she never learned to appreciate those around her or what they do for her. 10 speeches at her wedding, but no room for Rob, is proof enough that the world revolves around her. Ooh, Opie is getting destroyed here. What is going on? You are almost 30 and needed all of this pointed out to you? You made multiple conscious choices to exclude Rob from your wedding and only cared after you brought up an issue with your insurance, another thing that he helped pay for. At your age, you should know that choices have consequences. I'm not sure that there is anything you can do to make up for the choices that you made. How can he trust her? She probably just calls him when she needs something from him. Yeah, she didn't just exclude him from walking her down the aisle, she also chose 2 bridesmaids to make speeches over the man who raised her and paid for the wedding. I wonder what OP wants money for now. She's seeing that she's just suddenly getting the guilt. I recommend you start by telling Rob, I'm sorry, I'm an oblivious, inconsiderate asshole, and go from there. I think that would be a good start. Yes, I think that would be a nice place to start the conversation, OP. It's not looking too good for you right now. Wow. 29 years old and still acting a fool. Ain't that crazy? We aren't in Am I the Asshole, but regardless, huge asshole. Yeah. In this situation, OP is a gigantic asshole for what they've done here. Oh my god. I don't know if there is any coming back from this one as well. If I'm Rob in this situation, you're not my daughter after this. I agree with that comment. Like, wow. This would just hurt me so much if I were Rob. If I'm in Rob's shoes, this is something that I'm not easily going to forgive if I do forgive this one. Rob deserves so much better. Sorry, I'll try and read every single comment that you guys gave me. Let's go. I think he knows it. Oof. Oh, Rob? No, tell him. Thinking he knows isn't enough. He chipped in? Just cut all speeches. Let's be real. The likely only person who wants to hear them is Granny Margaret. Don't pick certain people. The chat is a Rob support zone only. Absolutely. We're banning any Rob dissenters. The betrayal that OP has committed, I completely understand if Rob doesn't want to talk to her anymore. She sounds like she acted like he was her ATM rather than family. Well, yeah, it very much shows where she just asks him for basically money, and there's like 3 questions that he gave answers. And the way that OP described it as well, I asked him for something, he answered. I asked him for something again, he answered. And then I asked a 3rd time, and he didn't answer. What did I do wrong? Isn't that so crazy? Apologize with adult adoption. Adult adoption? Yeah, get the bio dad to adopt you back, since he's so important. And now, onto the update. First, I want to say some things before posting. No, I am not Linda. My biological father isn't dying. I got a DM in here asking. Well, you're not beautiful either right now, OP. Let's just sort that one out. You are not Linda. 2, my sister is mostly just sad. Not really mad at me. Just said that she understood my situation, but it was still really shitty seeing her father taken for granted and sad. 3, my mother is the person most pissed off at me at the moment. She is the only one that still does not talk to me. I mean, she does, but not really. Probably rightly so, OP. I feel like you spit in her face as well with the wedding, but hey, consequences in it. 4, for the people saying my husband and my mother were idiots for not talking to me before, they agree and have told me this. My husband especially. I'm not trying to shift blame here, just saying this for the people that talked about it. I was not going to post anything else on here. I'm not a fan of being called names, and for people to keep saying that Rob should leave our family. Although I'm well aware that I deserve most of everything that was said about me. The comments saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, in regards to me and my biological father, were the ones that hurt the most, as it's a fear of mine, and the reason that I don't drink much and don't use any drugs or anything that could be addictive. But seeing how that there are other things that could make us more similar than I realized is really frightening. Am I getting a lack of self-awareness here, OP? Is something going on? The day I posted here, my mum told me that Rob wanted to speak to me and to go to their home after work. I went and waited for Rob to arrive. When he did, my mum left us alone, and he started off by saying that he was hurt by what I did at the wedding, that he knows that he is not my father, and that he would never try to force that on me. But that he at least thought that he had some sort of importance in my life, and seeing me just not give him any importance apart from talking to him when I needed help with something made him realize that I do not view him the way that he thought that I did. At this point, I was already crying so much that I couldn't even talk. I waited for him to finish, and when he did, I just told him basically what you all saw in the post. That I screwed up bad, that I was inconsiderate, that he is one of the most important people in my life, and that what I did was unforgivable. The only reason that I'm posting this here is because of something said during the conversation. He said something about my time at college and how I went, but that was because ... and stopped. He asked me, what? Because of what? I just said nothing. You're right. That was my fault, and I should have done better. He was pretty angry at that point, and he started to smile, and we talked about me taking responsibility for my actions. It's something that I'm terrible at. It was an issue at my old job, and since then, I've been trying to be better at it, but I'm not very successful. He asked what changed, and I told him about the post. Multiple people in the comments said that I don't take responsibility, and yes, they read right through me. I showed it to him, and reading the post calmed him down. And no, he did not read the comments, just the ones that I showed to him. I would not let him see what some of you were saying about my mum. So yes, he told me that if I was going to say something else, to thank you people for calling me out for not taking responsibility. We talked about a lot of other things not related to the wedding. At the end, I just told him that they were two things that I wanted to say for him to take away from this conversation. I really did mean it when I was in high school and said that I wished he was my dad. Even now, with my biological dad in my life, I still feel that way. And the second thing is that I know that it will be hard for him to believe it right now because of what happened, but I'll try to prove it to him for as long as it takes. For those interested, I've been going to a therapist with my biological father once every 2 weeks since he came back, but I think I need one for myself, so I'll try to make that happen soon. I want to thank 3 particular commenters that helped me. 1, the person that told me to take it slow with Rob and DM'd me to stop looking at the thread because I was spiraling. 2, the one that said, people screw up, sometimes badly, but in a loving and caring family, it's never the end of things as long as you are willing to own your mistakes. And 3, most importantly, the best comment that was fair and gave me the right advice. You are a spoilt, selfish, childish person. I don't know that Rob will forgive you, but you can't simply wait to see if he does. Write him a letter in which you fully own up to your awful behavior. Do not say, I wish someone had stopped me. That isn't taking accountability for the way that you treat people. With him and your mum paying for your wedding and your in-laws paying for your house, you need to grow up and reflect very seriously on how you interact with everyone around you. I guess the post served as a letter in this scenario. Thank you. That was the slap in the face that I needed to realize that I need to do a lot of work to improve myself, and that the wedding was not its own thing. It was a reflection of who I am right now, and I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. Also, Rob more or less told me something similar, just not as aggressive. So this comment made me take his words as him not attacking me, but trying to help me understand my flaws. I'm not sure how I'll make it up to him for this. Rob is telling me that over time, just me being how I was before my biological father showed up will be enough for him. I don't doubt him, but it's not enough for me. I'll live with what I did for the rest of my life. I will always remember. The way I am now, I actually need people to call me out for this kind of thing, and it's not fair to them. I will work on it. I have to. I will try my hardest to not ever hurt anyone I love this way again. Thankfully, now I have someone in my husband to help me to do that and to call me out if needed. Thank you. In the comments, Not an OP says, you're gonna feel like shit on your sister's wedding day. Sis is definitely going to go above and beyond to make sure her dad knows that he is loved and honored, and the walk down the aisle and the father-daughter dance will be the most lovely. Yes, and then he'll realize that someone loves him. Whoa, his wife loves him, and that's plenty for the average man. Shit, for the average man, your dog loving you is good enough. Absolutely. Trousers, I love you, my boy. He knows that she loves him, but will question it a lot when sleep won't come, and after this shitstorm, insomnia will be in your bed more than your effing pillow. Oh my god. They're still going in on her. Oh my god. While I'm glad that you finally started to take accountability and Rob has forgiven you, I'm sorry, but the way that you've written this, it comes across as, I made a mistake, whoops, people called me out on it, I apologized, and they forgive me, all is well, is so selfish and dense. What have you done? What steps have you taken to show that you actually feel bad for how you've treated Rob? You have said nothing. Honestly, pay him back the wedding money. Do better, honestly. Well, she cried uncontrollably, duh. Opie doesn't even realize how bad she is. The whole crying part is just a way to avoid accountability, like a child who starts crying when caught stealing. She didn't even set up the meeting with Rob. Her mum had to tell her that Rob wanted to talk to her and to stop by after work. What's the female version of a man-child? The only reason I'm posting it here is because of something during the conversation. He said something about my time at college, and I went, but that was because ... and stopped. He asked me what, and because of what, and I just said nothing. You're right, that was my fault, and I should have done better. What the hell is this about, and why is it added? Well, that's to prove that she's growing as a person, most likely. Crap, rereading it makes it sound like that. OP, look, it's not your fault if you're narcissistic or something, but it is your responsibility to act nicely. Yeah, what did OP do in college? What did they do? They bully someone? They attack someone? They didn't take responsibility for their own actions? Color me shocked in that instance. So, sipping on the wet end of a rope, huh? Rob paid for your bio dad to get clean. Is he also paying for you to have therapy with him? God, I hope not. Can you imagine? Honestly, Rob knows who you are, and I wish him nothing but happiness, and hopefully a great father of the bride experience with his daughter. I was willing to be sympathetic until I got to the bi-weekly therapy with Biodad. How is OP still putting more effort into Biodad than with Rob? Spoiled, selfish, and childish don't even scratch the surface. OP needs to reassess all of her priorities. Pay him back for the wedding. I agree with that one. I agree with that. I wonder what her dad's speech was like. He abandoned her when she was 5 and was out of her life for 25 years. What the heck could he even have to say? This is one of the biggest F-ups by her. Congratulations to the groom. The mother of the bride was great lay, so hopefully that's genetic. That's crazy. In all the years I've known her, the bride has never once failed to find Waldo. I hope she brings that skill and dedication to your lives together. Oh my god, I would love to hear that. You know, you joke, but I was once at a wedding where the groom's father started his speech with, "My wife is really hot. I'm glad my son is marrying someone who is also really hot." Still the only second cringiest wedding speech I've seen in person. This was the first cringiest. One where it seemed like the other person giving the speech was trying to make a confession of love to the one of the marrying couple. I can't. People need to chill at weddings, okay? Oh my god. I'm kind of amazed at the sheer number of people on Reddit who picked this shitty absentee parent to walk them down the aisle over the parental figure who has been there their whole lives. It happens way too often. Or the people who say, "F that, Rob is awesome and we're doing a father-daughter dance," don't go to Reddit for advice. Yeah, this is important to keep in mind. Not just for the situations of biological parents walking kids down the aisle. The subreddits that these are pulled from are for people who have effed up somehow and don't have the tools or the maturity to deal with it in any way other than posting on Reddit about it. It's just so important to not make grand speculations on the human condition from these subreddits, because as a mediocre man once said, they're not sending their best. And the apple is not falling far from the tree, that's for sure. Being a good step-parent is a thankless job. You can do everything right, like Rob here, and still get stabbed in the back. I do hope that Rob will get his chance to walk OP's sister down the aisle one day. He's a true father, even to children who are not his own. The one comment that got me at the end was, he now also feels like you don't see him as a dad, but that's also 100% his own fault for failing you as your dad. That's just so effing sad. The fact that she only texted him 2 months later to ask about stuff that he helps her out with tells you all that you need to know about the relationship. And she's doing therapy with her bio dad. Like, why? If anyone cares. We don't care. I don't even care that you're talking to your bio dad. Oh my god, that was crazy. What are we thinking, gang? A donation? I missed a donation of $2 by Becky Penguin. I think OP was involved in an accidental death. Yeah, of the relationship between her and Rob. That's the accidental death. She's too blind to realize what she's doing. I treated the man who raised me and paid for this whole thing like a used napkin, but when Reddit heard it, Oh, it was just a toxic gossip train. Yeah, this really is one of those stories where it's like, why did you come to the internet with this one? What did you think was going to happen? You're upset the internet is trying to make you take accountability for your actions and teach you? Like, I didn't like that people told me to be a better person and they shouted names at me. When I'm willing to bet the way that OP talks in this situation and how she didn't message Rob for weeks after until she needed something, that just tells me I can assume that she's just a bad person in general. And she'd be the exact same person to read a story like this and just say the worst and not care about it. It's like, oh, I hate it when I receive comeuppance, but I don't like it when other people give me comeuppance. Terrible that. I don't like OP. She sounds like a terrible person. I wonder if OP's husband has a buyer's remorse after seeing how she's treated Rob. I'd certainly be considering my relationship after seeing how Rob was treated here. That is absolutely for sure. Hydrate if you can, y'all. Hydrate and hit the like button. How's that? ASMR swallowing noises in the pink... Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry for the swallowing noises, my bad. I'll move it over here when I swallow. Posted by user ThrowraTastelessHost, titled, Am I the asshole for taking credit for dinner after the praise was given to my wife? I could not cook for the life of me before I met my wife. Not that I was incompetent, just a very boring cook. Grilled cheese, boiled dogs, ramen with maybe an egg or slice of cheese for excitement, bland oven-baked chicken, or pork chops that were never juicy. Our first year of dating, she painstakingly took her time in the kitchen to help me learn what spices suited each other, or what different chemical reactions go on with marinades or roasting, and so on. I've since actually come to love cooking and experimenting and learning new recipes on my own. It helps that I enjoy trying new stuff, but I was afraid to do it without her encouragement and support. We hosted a party, mostly family, maybe hers more than mine, and I cooked everything. I was so proud of myself, maybe stupidly, for handling a 20-plus dinner party, from invites to grocery shopping to cooking to handling setup and breakdown and all. I've helped with cooking and preparation with other parties over 4 years, but never soup to nuts. My father-in-law thanked me for the meal. I can only attribute this to ego, but I said, well, you can thank her for teaching me to cook. He kinda got red in the face, and then said that she did a great job teaching me, and that was that. As I was cleaning up, she asked me why I felt the need to brag by putting her down. I said that wasn't what I meant to do, but she said that was what I did, regardless of intent. I apologized, but it just wasn't enough. I also asked if this was something that I did often, making her feel overlooked, but she said that a party with her family wasn't the place for me to start bragging. I'm confused. What? My father-in-law thanked me for the meal. I can only attribute this to ego, but I said, well, you can thank her for teaching me to cook. That's a compliment, is it not? Is that not a compliment? What's going on? Can you educate me? Am I missing something? I would say that. Am I an asshole? What's going on? This is definitely not enough info story. Yeah, I feel like something else happened here, because I'd be like, sorry, guys, I was a dumbass before all of this, and my wife, or my girlfriend, my wife came and saved me. She showed me the light. I'm thankful to her every day for what she did, because she taught me how to cook, and I was an idiot. I'm confused. That's a compliment, is it not? Especially if that's your love language together. The opening, tell us you're white without saying you're white. What are you talking about? That's funny. That's funny. Oh my god, I get it. Holy crap, if my husband cooked a whole dinner for a party, I would be bragging on him, not getting mad that he deserves credit for doing all that work. It must be a cultural thing then, right? Is this like a different culture that I'm not used to? Holy crap. I think it's an implication that she doesn't cook or do housework, so sexism. But I don't understand how they interpreted it that way. Maybe father-in-law was saying thank you guys for the meal, and OP jumped the gun. Someone is missing info. OP the girlfriend of Reddit goblins. Does she think that his cooking is still bad? That is a backhanded compliment meant to be a diss. Markee, you read it wrong. It said, my father-in-law thanked her for the meal, and he butted in to make her know it was actually him. Wait. Oh, he did thank her for the meal. Okay, sorry. My father-in-law thanked her for the meal. I can only attribute this to ego, so, well, you can thank her for teaching me to cook. That makes sense. I said thanked me. I did read it wrong. My bad. He thanked her for the meal. That was a backhanded compliment. Weird. Okay, I'm going to send this to you guys. I guess it depends. If I'm there in person, and it depends on the tone and context of like how this went down, maybe it could be translated in person as like a backhanded compliment. This whole story was just microwave noise in my brain, a very soothed microwave, mind you. Okay, in the comments, Stone Age Prue says, "Not the asshole. You did everything, so why would she want the praise? This wasn't bragging, as you did everything, including invites and grocery shopping by yourself. That's not putting her down. That's taking credit for your work. Taking credit for somebody other's accomplishments is an asshole move, and then playing the victim is definitely even more the asshole. Not the asshole here. It was a perfect opportunity for the wife to go, actually, Dad, hubby made all the wonderful food all on his own. He's gotten so good at cooking, he planned this whole thing himself. I was very impressed, but totally fumbled the bag. I feel bad because I feel relationships should be about building each other up. It's sad that OP felt that he had to do it himself instead of the wife recognizing him. I can see that. I agree, and was about to say the same, but she wanted the credits, and OP didn't allow her to steal his hard work. His response telling father-in-law that she taught him how, acknowledging and giving some of the credit to her. It's as you described. Where is the put down? You credited her good teaching. Why would it have been okay for her to take credit for all the work of this particular dinner? Not the asshole. And OP says, the putting down was that in comparison to all her work towards parties, I did basically nothing. Like, oh, one party, congrats, when she has mostly handled dinner party preps before. Nah, your father-in-law complimented you in that moment, for that party. I'm willing to bet that he thanked her after every party, and she deserved it. This time, you deserved it, and she wanted to take the credit. Wow, I'm sorry, but what an effing Debbie Downer. I would have been glowing, and definitely would have directed the compliments to the chef. They literally complimented her teaching skills too. She sucks. I'm getting it. I'm putting the puzzle pieces together in my mind. I guess you could have said, she usually does the party prep, but this time it was me? But I still think your response was 100% acceptable unless there's a history of her doing something and it always going unnoticed. But she gets great fanfare when you do the same thing. Has her father never said the same thing to her at a dinner party that she did all the work for? If that's the case, I can understand her being upset. The one time her father says something, and it's the one time when she didn't do all the work, but it would have been misdirected. Her father would be the one to get upset with, in that case, not you. If you aren't sure whether her father has said a similar thing to her after she has done all the prep work, then ask her. If that's what's going on, then acknowledge that, yeah, it's not nice for him to not have appreciated all the work she's put into prior dinner parties. OP says, I do know he has because I've witnessed it. Her family gushes over her food, rightfully, including her father. You didn't put her down though. You gave her proper credit for teaching you. She was the asshole for stealing credit. She should have corrected your father-in-law. I wonder if she's envious or threatened by your newfound skills. Not the asshole. OP says, I doubt she's envious. She's a master in the kitchen and she really excels with baking, but her cooking is phenomenal. People often compliment her for how well she cooked. In hindsight, she's also upset my food, which is still nowhere near hers in quality, was mistaken for hers. I wouldn't be too sure. She's been used to getting the plaudits. People who are used to being applauded often get envious of others getting praise. And now, on to the update. I think I'm misusing the term, but missing reasons come to mind. Whoever said that in the comments, missing reasons, yeah. She was stressed by work due to a sudden project that she wanted to be well rested for to tackle. A dinner party with plenty of people isn't going to help that. The party was planned before the project was dumped on her. She also apologized for her reaction and admitted that it was out of line for her to say that, and reassured me that I did a great job, especially for my first party and for such a size. That night was out of character for her, which is why I was concerned that I screwed up. She was frustrated by the conversation she was having with her aunt because she was hinting around for babies. She didn't hear her dad at first because she was focused elsewhere, and then her mind caught up and she felt ashamed. Like others were judging her for not being the one to cook, and according to what she's mentioned, he probably instilled that in her, and she felt at the time like I was too quick to correct him. Oh, okay, there's some of that. I tried to apologize for that, but she said that it was fine and she was just more sensitive because of her embarrassment. I asked if there was anything specific that I could change in how I showed my appreciation, that I could help her feel fulfilled and validated. I verbally showed my gratitude and cleaned up the kitchen after she cooks as a thank you, but she clearly isn't feeling appreciated, and that means there needs to be an adjustment. We're going to keep talking about how we both handle gratitude and appreciation for each other to make sure that we both feel fulfilled, and how I can support her best in the weeks upcoming, because this project she had dropped on her is a big one that will mean a lot of extra hours for her. Oh, okay. In the comments, Food Baby Baby says, I appreciate this update. Out of curiosity, what did she do for this event? I couldn't tell from the last post. I saw you shopped and cooked, but as someone who has hosted a lot personally and professionally, I know that there is a ton more that goes into it. Who did the following? Clean the house for guests, coordinated invites and responses and sending info, set up the tables and decor, drinking, purchasing, setup, making, and hosting, greeting, serving, etc. And Dopey says, I cleaned the house and set up the tables, coordinated invites and RSVPs, and went shopping for drinks and food. There weren't many mixed drinks, mostly water, soda, wine, or beer, so not much that needed more than a glass and the bottle opened. We both greeted, just by nature of who had been closer to the door, but it was informal in how everyone came in. I put out the food, but that's typical. She mostly helped entertain by talking with the guests. OP said in the previous post that they did everything. Okay. So you mean that you are planning to use empathy and healthy communication skills to solve this problem? That's such a foreign concept to Reddit. I wonder how many commenters you got suggesting divorce on your last post. Seriously though, stuff like this happens in relationships when the other is having a bad day, but it sounds like you two are handling it exactly the way that you're supposed to. I'm glad that you guys are able to talk it out and come to understand each other. Congratulations on your healthy marriage. It's a rare and wonderful thing to behold on this subreddit. Right? What the hell? Why would you talk openly and honestly with the person that's supposed to be most important in your life? Where are the lies? The deceit? Have we learnt nothing? Like last story? Like, why are you trying to be held accountable for your actions? Why are you trying to learn from this? Responsibility? What's that? Can you afford to hire a cleaning service to come in for a day while she's in the throes of this project? Coming home to a professionally cleaned house is a lovely treat. I cleaned houses for years. I was always told how much they appreciated coming home to everything clean. Big stress reliever. When I was a kid, at the end of every meal, my dad would look at my mum, smile and say something like, "That was delicious. Thank you." The wording varied, but the meaning was always the same. That may be the validation that your wife is looking for. P.S. He had a lot of other ways of showing that he loved her and appreciated her, and all of that stuff, but that one thing sticks in my mind. It didn't matter if dinner was a 6-course Italian feast or pork and beans on toast. He complimented her cooking and thanked her for her efforts. God forbid OP's wife have a human moment and not properly hear in the situation when being harassed. And despite conflict, once things calmed down, they had a loving discussion focused on growing closer together and nurturing their relationships while also resolving the issue at hand. Good job learning to cook, OP, and learning how to handle hosting a party from start to finish. I hope you and your wife continue to grow together. Cannot begin to describe how much I'm rooting for the both of them. What a mature response from both of them. I'm just here for the no drama. I love that. Popcorn is still in the cupboard. This is nice. We can't be having that on Reddit. We need drama. AdAngel says, quote, I asked if there was anything specific I could change in how I show my appreciation that I could help her feel fulfilled and validated. Not gonna lie, being shown this much grace, especially when I was the one in the wrong, would probably make me cry. Also, I despise the comment that tried to catch him with a gotcha about how he probably didn't do all the work after he clearly and proudly described that he did. I know a lot of men take women's work for granted, but that doesn't make the opposite any more okay. I love how the last comment tried to minimize the efforts of the OP by hunting for things that he... Yeah. What didn't you do, OP? Gotcha. I definitely am reading too much into it, but this part stuck out to me. I asked if there was anything specific I could change in how I show my appreciation, and how I show how I appreciate. oh god, my brain, that could help her feel fulfilled and validated. I verbally showed my gratitude and cleaned up the kitchen after she cooks as a thank you, but she clearly isn't feeling appreciated, and that means there needs to be an adjustment. I don't see OP mentioning their wife having the same level of reflection, only that they both plan on working on their handling of gratitude and appreciation, when I think it should only be her, but not even in a severe way, as I can understand why she was annoyed by the conversation with her aunt and pressures of work. I read it reads as OP really overcorrecting for the smallest of infractions. In fact, I would say neither of them really did anything wrong. At worst, it's like only one step above not saying bless you when someone sneezes. It's great that they can communicate, but I think they just need to relax a bit and tell the aunt to mind her own business. So she took full accountability for how she acted, even when OP tried to blame himself, and clearly explained how none of it was on him and how she was overreacting and apologized? Is this still Reddit? It's a good question. Where am I? Alternate universe where Reddit is not evil? What's going on? Why should us husbands thank our wives for doing their jobs? Sarcasm, please don't hurt me. Good question. So the lesson is don't host dinner parties with family when you're already stressed out. Yeah, I think in this instance, you probably want to delay the wedding, the dinner party, even though you've put a date on it, because having something dumped on you like that is really stressful. And maybe there wasn't enough communication with OP that she's really stressed out about this and it's really affecting her, and it led to this happening. I guess we can only speculate what could have been done in hindsight. Maybe this is a lesson going forward to use this hindsight for the better when something like this happens again, because it inevitably will. I don't hear a reason why it's okay to take it out on OP. I don't think it was okay to take it out on OP, and they apologized for that. Maybe there's a lot of things that OP has left out in their updates as to, how the situation evolved from there. And I think that's okay. We don't have to know every detail about their life. I'm sure this was a healthy response and a healthy resolution, and I'm sure she took accountability for her actions more than she felt she needed to, or more than, I don't know, maybe she did it appropriately in person. Who knows? I'm just yapping. I'm waffling in it. Our next post is by user CompetitiveCat4999 by 11 days ago, titled, Am I the asshole for wearing white to a wedding? I, 27 female, have a friend, 25 female, that just got married last Saturday. My friend is South Asian, not Indian, and she decided to wear a red traditional dress for her wedding. I asked what the dress code was, and she said that she genuinely just wanted her guests to look their best. She also said that there isn't a forbidden and frowned upon color to wear, as in Christian wedding in Europe. So I decided to go with a white cream dress, see in the link. Anyways, I went to her wedding and had a good time. My friend said that she really liked my dress, but while I was there, her other friends that are not South Asian, i.e. they are white, black and Hispanic and all Christian, they went up to me and started with small talk, and one of the girls spilled pop all over me. Oh, it happened! Wow. I asked her what she just did, and she said that I shouldn't have come to a wedding with a white dress. Am I the asshole? Yo, so this is the dress? Oh, I like that. That's a nice dress. What do we think of the dress? Wow, getting white on that, it looks like Roman to me. I'm getting Roman vibes. I think this is the one time where wearing white is okay, but like, god damn. In the comments, the diagonal slash across the chest is a fashion staple. It's why Saris will always be in style. But agreed, the dress is lovely. Easy to dress up or down too. OP says, that was actually the look that I was going for. I have worn the dress before to my friend's sister's baby shower, and they asked for formal dresses, and my friend said that it reminded her of a sari. So I thought that I should wear it to her wedding, as it's a mix of South Asian and Western, but still within my comfort zone. Not the asshole, because you had checked with the bride, but it's still a poor choice for a wedding where a lot of the guests are used to no white being a hard rule. It's going to cause a stir, get you judged, and risk exactly the kind of drama that you got. The friends are definitely assholes because they didn't check with the bride if she was upset and went vigilante instead, but you still made an unwise dress choice. You were not at fault in any way though. They are the ones who started drama and ruined your dress. And OP says, I wanted to point out that the only non-South Asians were me, the ones that spilled the drink on me, and the groom's friends. We were a total of 10 non-South Asians, and the total number of guests were 270. Okay, so yeah, you were really standing them up in a crowd of 270 people that didn't care, OP. Yeah, that's what the vibes that I'm getting here. These people suck. OP answers some clarifying questions. Information needed. Where was the wedding? The wedding was held in Newark, New Jersey. Was anyone else wearing white? Did anyone else get stuff on them? No white Western dresses, but people wore white South Asian dresses like lehengas, saris, etc. They didn't get anything spilled on them. Oh, interesting. Interesting. When you talked to the bride, was anyone else present? And did the bride clarify colors to anyone else or just you? OP says, the bride and I are from Norway and her husband is from the US. He's South Asian too. While she and I were getting ready for the wedding and the plane ride, I asked her those questions and she answered them. It was just me and her plus her sister. She didn't clarify the colors to anyone else because everyone else is South Asian, and according to her sister at the time, you didn't need clarification for the color as nobody cares for the color you wear in South Asian weddings. Did you let those ladies know that you did talk to the bride and asked for them to pay for getting it cleaned? And OP says, the girls didn't know. However, they are pretty aware that me and the bride are extremely close. Interesting. Very interesting. OP was the only one attacked at this wedding. Can say saris and saris and saris. How am I saying it incorrectly? At me again. Tell me how I'm supposed to say it. Sorry? I don't know. This is not a word that I use often. Try it on to get a better feel for it. I'm not gonna put the dress on to get a better feel for it, okay? Leave it. What are you coming at me for? Definitely you're the asshole. Only 4 options? YouTube only giving me the 4 options is chaotic. Don't wear white to a wedding. Why is it so hard for everyone? I think this person's okay with wearing white to the wedding because they were told they can wear white to this wedding. So I'm confused. Still think it's weird to wear white as a traditional color for the bride only. Understandable. But I guess I'm seeing this from my cultural perspective, whereas if I was born South Asian in that culture, from their perspective, it's normal to wear white to the wedding because they don't care. So I'm guessing I'm judging based on my worldview. In the comments, NightSkier79 says, not the asshole. I'm also Asian and yeah, red is the bride's color. White doesn't have the same context like a Western wedding. To be fair, white can be associated with death in some Asian country cultures, but if the bride says all colors are good, then all colors are good, period. End of story. Sis. Get these Christians to turn the other cheek and pay your cleaning bill. OP asked, their friend approved. In context, this is no different than Western women wearing a classic black dress to a wedding. This is apparently regional. I was shocked the first time I went to a wedding in Florida at the number of women in black. However, I asked someone that I knew had also been to New England wedding, and she just said that it's not a thing here like where I grew up. As for this case, the reason to not wear white to a wedding is to not look like the bride, which no longer applies if the bride isn't in white. Yes, I was raised in New England, and we, edit my circles at least, never wear white, as it's reserved for the bride, or black, mourning to a wedding. But if the bride has a traditional color other than white she will be wearing, and asks you to wear whatever you like, that should be acceptable to all. Those women at her wedding are not her real friends to make a scene like that. They are ignorant bullies, and not worthy of her or you. It's a nice dress, by the way. I was raised in New England and still live in New England, and black is absolutely acceptable for weddings. I've lived all my life in Mass, and also have never heard of this rule. Black is pretty standard for fancy weddings. Yeah, I see black at weddings all the time. Over 50 Midwesterner, black was never okay for weddings when I was growing up, and it always shocks me a little when I see it, even though it's considered okay these days. Still won't do it myself. Not the asshole. They were trying to solve a problem that wasn't there. They obviously did not listen to the bride's wishes. The dress isn't even white. They probably didn't even ask her. They just took it upon themselves out of the goodness of their heart. Sarcasm. Oh, the goodness of my heart to just splash you a little bit there. I think you're exactly right. White does not have the same significance in other cultures, and the bride even said that she didn't care about the dress. I'd be snitching to the bride after the honeymoon, to be honest. Not the asshole. Her friend intentionally spilled a soda on your dress. That's a bigger issue. How did you sort this out? That must have been horrible. Spilling a drink on guests who wear white to weddings is absolutely a thing in the US, Bonus points if it's the mother of the bride or groom wearing white, trying to make it their day. I have never done this. It's just how it is nowadays. What people have to remember when doing this is context. A South Asian wedding does not adhere to the same standards of bridal color. People have to stop forgetting that other cultures exist. The friend who spilled the pop is obviously not that good of a friend, or they would have known the bride's wishes and culture. Only someone close to the bride should be the vigilante. We demand booty? From Epic Zo? No booty this time. Maybe next time. Oh my god. One booty. And now onto the update. Hi everyone. So, time for an update. I told my friend about the situation after I posted because I didn't want her to be angry right after and during her special day. First, let me explain what happened after she spilled soda on my dress. I went to the bride's sisters and explained everything and told her not to tell the bride. The sister and I went to the home of the bride and groom. She has the bride's key and they live near the reception building, because my luggage was there and I changed. Luckily I had a dress, but unfortunately it wasn't a long gown, but a short knee-length dress. The bride noticed when I went back, and I lied and told her that the other dress wasn't comfortable and went on with the party. Then I sat down with the bride. I told her, and she became so pissed and told me she never wanted to see those people again. We messaged the girl, and the bride told her to pay up for the cleaning, and the girl surprisingly paid the full amount. She had thought the bride wanted to stay friends, but after she sent the money to the bride via Venmo, my friend blocked her and the others. She apologized, and I told her that it wasn't her fault. I'm staying another week here, and it feels a lot better with having told her everything. Thank you all for the replies to my other story. Reddit should take some responsibility here. How many times have I read, spill some red wine on, ... Reddit, we are to blame. There are just as many stories here explaining white only depends on the culture. Even in a place where it's generally not considered proper for anyone other than the bride to wear white at a wedding, it is barbaric to destroy someone else's property. Vandalism is never acceptable. Unless you're a vandal from the Vandal region in France. If I were a bride, I would never want that to happen. Either the white dress wouldn't bother me at all because, yeah, I'm focusing on having a good time. But even if I thought someone did it out of spite, it would just create more drama. Sent the money to the bride via Venom. You're gonna get my Venom. I know that's a typo, but it almost reads better as written. Yeah, she did. She sent it via Venom. I've been saying it for years, that symbiotes are real, and are out there taking over, but no one ever believed me. But now I have proof. Don't worry, I've been developing high-pitched, sound-emitting body armor and have tested it on the teenagers. It should be perfect against the symbiote invasion. Screw those a-holes. I'm South Asian. There's nothing weird about wearing white to a wedding at all. It might not be something young people would wear because it's a color typically associated with mourning, and is the color most people would wear to a funeral. It is also favored by elderly widows as a result, but there is no cultural taboo over it, and the clothes you wear for mournings aren't exactly stylish and flamboyant like a nice dress is, so nobody's going to get confused either. What the friends did was pretty egregious. You don't get to impose your culture onto someone else. Were white a color of celebration in my culture, I still wouldn't wear it to a Western wedding. For them to just assume that it was unwelcome and take action on behalf of the bride without even asking her is downright offensive. I'm with the bride here. I would have blocked them too. I don't think it being a mourning color is an issue for us as much right now. Pastels have been dominant choice in our fashion industries for events for a few years now, with white being a very popular choice in both Pakistan and India. It's likely that one of the spiller's pals was filming for a TikTok that said something like, "Look how awesome we are! Justice for this tacky social faux pas!" I think it's strange that you decided to invent angry fanfic about this story. It's so funny to me. It's so weird that you just decided to extend the story and speculate. You must be new, that's what we do here. Okay, if this had been a Western wedding, I would have said that OP should have expected that reaction, but this was a South Asian wedding where the colors for events like weddings and funerals are traditionally not what Westerners wear for those events. Plus, OP did check with the bride before the wedding, if any colors should be avoided before she picked an outfit, so those girls, who were also in the minority at the wedding, decided to react based on their cultural values and not on the cultural values of the bride and the event. Good for the bride in getting them to pay OP back before she blocked them. Yeah, I would like to know what would happen if instead they did their vigilante justice on the South Asian people wearing white dresses. Why did they not target the South Asian people wearing white dresses? Curious that. Very curious. Posted by user SisterGroundedThrway, titled, Am I the asshole for grounding my adult sister? I, 25 female, live in a 3-bedroom apartment with my fiancé, 27 male. We have a 6-month-old son. My younger sister Mia, fake name, 20 female, recently started attending a university that's closer to where I live than both my parents' places. Because she needs to get to class early in the morning, my fiancé and I allowed her to move into our spare bedroom. She's been living with us since January. There is a set of rules that I've been having Mia follow since she moved in, mostly to make sure that everyone can live peacefully. One of the most important rules concerns arriving after my son's bedtime, usually between 19 and 20 hours, so 7 and 8 o'clock at night. Mia is allowed to come home however late she wants, as long as she doesn't make too much noise. What? The door to the apartment has an electronic keypad lock, and the one that we also use has a normal lock under it. Everyone has a copy of this key, but we all prefer typing in the password. However, the keypad is very noisy, and my son's nursery isn't far from the door. Every time the keypad is used after I've put the baby to sleep, he wakes up. So naturally, the rule about getting home late includes not using the keypad. Everyone, including Mia, has known about this since day one. At first, we had no problems, but now that Mia has gotten used to college life, she's been going out at night frequently. This past month, she has arrived home after midnight every Friday and Saturday night. She always forgets the don't make too much noise rule, and she has, on multiple occasions, used the keypad. My son wakes up crying every damn time. I'd sit her down and remind her of the rule whenever this happened, but she'd continue to do it. My fiancé and I got tired of putting our baby back to sleep because of that, so I changed the password, and told Mia she was no longer allowed to use the keypad. She agreed and promised to try to make less noise. On Friday night this week, Mia went out with her friends. She came home very drunk at 4 a.m. and forgot that I'd changed the password. Not only did she use the keypad, she also got the password wrong so many times that she triggered an alarm. I was furious. Not only did my baby wake up crying, but I also got complaints from my neighbors. The next morning I told Mia that I'm establishing a curfew. While living with me, she needs to be home by 20 hours, 8 p.m. at night. She won't be allowed to go out at night for the rest of the semester. Mia put up a fight saying that I have no right to ground her, edit, I never used that word, like this, or dictate that what she does with her free time. But I held my ground. I told her that she'll be free to do as she pleases when she has her own place and raises her own family. But while living with mine, she has to do as I say. She told our parents about this. Our mother and stepfather are both on my side. Our father is on Mia's. He's saying that I'm not her mother, and I have no right to treat her like a child, and he also thinks that it's unfair to do this to her over a drunken mistake. Am I the asshole? I would argue that it was multiple. No, I can't mute the keypad. I would argue that it's multiple drunken mistakes, not just one drunken mistake. What? How loud is that keypad? Mine is just soft beeps. Bye, Felicia. Have a good night. I heard this story already. Sorry about that, then. What did Zach say, guys? Have you updated your car warranty? I have. I did update my car warranty. What? In the comments. Oh, OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I set up a curfew for my 20-year-old sister. She's an adult who loves going out at night, and I probably could have handled things differently. So I might be in the wrong here. I feel like this is a situation personally where the sister should go move into a share house if she's not going to respect the rules of the house and continuously wake up a baby. So I don't think that OP is the asshole here, but I'm open to having my mind changed on that if there's some weird universe where I'm not correct. Not the asshole. I admit it does sound like a bit of a power trip to ground your adult sister, but it is well within your rights to enforce rules when you're allowing your sister to live there, apparently for free. If she wants full freedom to do what she wants, she can always rent her own place. If she's in college, she is definitely old enough to have some responsibility. I laughed about the terminology ground her, but in all honesty, what are OP's options? Sister has zero respect for the baby or the parents. If dad is so appalled, he needs to facilitate new living arrangements for her. This isn't about what or who she's doing out late, it's about waking up the damn baby. This is as main character as it gets. Yeah, dad can step up. Mia, the drunk and irresponsible college student, is she actually going to class? Is not showing that she is capable of respecting the family who has offered her a place to stay. It's quite a stretch to assume that she's not going to class simply because she's going out late on the weekends and being a nuisance when coming home drunk. I worked, partied, and still went to class as a college student. More than once, I would get home at 3 to 4 a.m., then take a nap, shower, and class from 8 to 11 a.m. It's called Reddit yoga. I don't like this Reddit yoga. Too bad, you're doing the Reddit yoga. Not the asshole, though grounding a 20-year-old is not really a thing. I think since she can't seem to function normally when she drinks, on those nights, she just needs to crash at a friend's place. I think next semester she should get a house with some friends. She should just have a much better experience. She would have a much better experience her last 2 years of school. OP says, I never use the word grounding. She did. I see it as more a house rule than anything else. Your sister is the one acting like a spoiled child instead of a considerate adult, which is why the rule is necessary, whatever it's called. It's not like you are punishing her or policing her because you see yourself in a parental role to her. You have to take measures to stop her coming home late at night, needlessly waking up the baby because she refuses to do one simple thing needed to take care to not wake him up herself. She's being a brat and is now offended at facing a rule needed to curtail bratish behavior. But I've got enough from the comments. What do you guys have to say about this one? Have you read the story about Pebbles the raccoon who went to a $5? Markee, have you read the one about Pebbles the raccoon who went to the wedding before? If you haven't, then it's a good palate cleanser if you end up needing it. No updates on the raccoon tax though. If another story does end up happening where we need that, bring it up then and we will palate cleanse. But there haven't been any terrible ones. Read the story about Pebbles the raccoon, please. Oh my god. Okay, next stream. Next stream we'll read Pebbles the raccoon. No pictures of the raccoon and a bow tie. Raccoon and a bow tie. What? Oh, isn't he cute? I hope that's not AI generated. Isn't he the best? And now, onto the update. Before I start this update, I want to recommend reading my comments on my previous post. There were many questions that I was able to answer there. Okay, I'll go do that. Not the asshole. Power trip, she wants full freedom. OP says the deal, she is living here for free, but only for now. The deal is for her to start paying a small portion of rent once she gets a job. Another comment, not the asshole, and you've given her way more chances than I would have. I would tell her that if she wakes the baby up one more time, then she's out. I can't imagine how annoyed your husband must be that you keep letting your adult sister act like an entitled 16-year-old. OP replies, my fiancé is actually the reason that I've been giving her this many chances. A big reason why I'm establishing the curfew now is because the situation has gotten bad enough that even he's sick of it. A lot of people are asking this, so let me explain why this is not an option. Technically it's possible, but moving my son from the nursery that I lovingly prepared while pregnant to the room that my sister has been messing up since January would require time, effort, and patience, none of which I'd have for this situation. I have a baby and a job, as does my fiancé, and I'm 99.9% sure that my sister wouldn't help us. I'm making enough efforts as it is, and I refuse to do something like this when she can easily just use her key. As for crashing somewhere else, I have suggested it before. There is always a reason why she can't do it. Yeah, dude, it's too much effort to ask people to crash at their place. It's embarrassing. I'd rather just never ask. I'm not sure I'd appreciate the women like OP comment there, but my son is used to normal sounds. The door beeping loudly at 4 in the morning is not a normal sound. No, I don't expect everyone else to cater to my baby, but I do expect those sharing a space with him to let him sleep. It's not hard to use the normal key. The noise that the electronic lock makes alerts whoever's inside that someone is trying to get in, and even if I wanted to turn the volume off, I can't. The problem is she usually is drunk, so there aren't many opportunities for her to help. Oh my god, okay. We did. The one we use doesn't have a silent mode. Even if it did, the whole point of the noise is to alert us in case someone tries to get in. I don't think I'd like that option. We don't live in the US. The school year started in February. Oh, they're in Australia. How's it bloody going, mate? That's when we start. Could be Australia, could be another country. Before I start this update, I want to recommend reading my comments on my previous post. There were many questions that I was able to answer there. It's very hard to explain my relationship with my younger sister in proper detail, but I will say that while I love her dearly, Mia has always been a very inconsiderate person. I have countless examples. She almost didn't attend our cousin's wedding last year because she didn't want to walk to the venue, which was 2 blocks away from our mum's place. We shared a bathroom when we were younger, and she would insist on having the top drawers because she didn't want to crouch down, but she was cool with me doing so. She slept through my college graduation and didn't apologize for it. I'm bringing this up now because whenever I asked Mia why she kept forgetting to use her key, her excuse was that looking through her bag took too long and the keypad was quicker. In her head, bothering other people is better than slightly inconveniencing herself. After I established the curfew, Mia tried different ways to make me change my mind. She'd talk about not being able to cancel her tickets for Party X. I remember we had a Party X like that here. That was weird. Or about the fun her friends had at Party Y. Oh, okay. Thought they meant like Project X. My bad. She'd show me her developing LinkedIn profile and then tell me she had learned her lesson and would be more responsible. Okay, weird. At first, I didn't really want to have to kick her out, which many of you suggested, but I have my limits. A few days ago, I heard her complaining to her friends on the phone about her bitch of a sister who wouldn't let her do anything. Later that day, I asked her which of our parents she planned on moving in with. Cue more fighting. I managed to tell her that I had no obligation to continue housing her for free if she couldn't respect my family. Mia could either move back in with our parents or continue living with me for the low price of respecting my infant son and stop complaining about it. We did have a very productive conversation afterwards. I managed to get a lot off my chest, as did my sister. Mia apologized for everything. She admitted that she had been selfish, promised she'd make efforts to change and mature. I'm a strong believer that people can change, which is why I'm not kicking her out right now. But I made it very clear that Mia is on thin ice, buckaroo, and the next time she does anything like this will be the last time she ever sees the inside of my home. The curfew will continue until the end of the semester, as originally planned. My father also agreed to pay for Mia to go back to therapy. It helped her a lot when she was younger, so I'm hopeful about the future of this living situation. I also want to thank those who suggested a white noise machine. My son is not a light sleeper. The keypad is just very loud and startles him awake. But my fiancé and I are looking into getting one. Anything that helps our baby sleep better is welcome. Thank you, Reddit. In the comments, hey, C musician, it's called respect. C musician, is that a reference I'm not understanding? OP has a very legitimate reason for asking Sis to be quiet and respect that a baby is sleeping. Sister absolutely doesn't have to abide by OP's rules if she feels that strongly about it, but she can't live there. And OP says, yeah, that's a huge part of my point. I'm not forcing her to live with me. She's doing so to make her own life easier. I have no problem with that, but I do respect that my child be respected as well. That there is what anime nerds call equivalent exchange. If you want something, you must pay an equal price for it. Mia gets to live for free, and the price for that is that she does not have as much freedom as she would like. If she wants the freedom to come and go as she pleases, then the price is that she has to pay for an apartment. The fact that she'd rather wake a sleeping infant than go through her purse is just selfish, and lazy is too weak a descriptor for that. Also, the idea that you, not her, is keeping her from doing stuff is just mind-boggling. I'm really happy that she's in therapy because that shit ain't normal. Did your parents never allow her to suffer any consequences for her actions as you were growing up? And/or is she incredibly stupid? OP says she did suffer consequences, but Mia never liked hearing the word no, specifically from me. I wouldn't even call her lazy, she just genuinely doesn't even think about anyone else. If it's a minor inconvenience to her, then she probably won't do it. That's why I'm so glad that she's returning to therapy. Yeah, there's something wrong with her. There's just something about that keypad noise, isn't there? My dog hated ours so much that we took it off and put a regular door lock back on. He would just go insane anytime it was used. OP says, right? It's uncanny. I take that there's no option to silence it. Yeah. Target burglars will target easy homes. Exactly. OP says, no, we can't silence it. I'm also not buying another, as the one that we have works perfectly and doesn't give us any other problems. My sister was the only one using it at night. As long as she doesn't do it anymore, then we should be fine. What's so crazy about all of this to me is that you all asked was for her to use her key instead of the keypad when she gets home late. This one request for a free place to live. I think there will be more drama, but I totally understand why it's hard to kick your sister out. You realize that this summer will be her hot girl era, and she will still be her, but kudos to you for second chances. OP says, I live in the southern hemisphere. Summer starts in December, and we'll all be traveling for the holidays. But I don't think she'd want to stay with us during the summer anyway. Just lots of bad comments. Oh, sea musician? Oh, that's what they meant. I was wondering, I was like, was there a reference to something? Hey, sea musician. Sea musician's down the bottom. Let's see what the drama is. You're an asshole. A ton of these examples is more you being pissed off because they're doing what you want. Okay, sea musician, that's your opinion, buddy. I don't see that. I also don't see why all the backstory was necessary. 20-year-old gets free room and board. All they have to do is not wake the baby during the night. If Mia doesn't like it, then she can leave. OP is still not the asshole. Start a poll. Was sea musician right? Hello, Mia. Do be quiet. Ali finally made it to a live stream, and Ali will finally make it to the end of a live stream as well. That's crazy.